family investment companies, how they work and why more families are using them in 2025. A lot of people think trusts are the only way to pass down wealth through generations. But over the last few years, family investment companies, or FICs, have become one of the most effective tools for managing family wealth, especially when it comes to succession planning and inheritance tax. If you're new here, I'm Abbas, a chartered accountant and chartered tax advisor. I trained at one of the big 4 firms in their private client team, and I now work with individuals, families, and business owners on structuring, inheritance tax planning, family business strategy, and broader UK taxes. In this video, I'll walk you through exactly what a family investment company is, how it works, and what the benefits it offers, and also where things can go wrong if you try and DIY it. Let's start with the basics. A family investment company is, on paper, just a normal private limited company. It files annual accounts, pays corporation tax on profits, and is owned by shareholders. The difference is how the shares are structured and how it's used. Unlike a trading company that runs a business, a FIC usually holds investments, property, stocks, or even surplus cash from other businesses. The company is the investment vehicle, and the family are the shareholders. What makes a FIC useful is the way that you can play with the rights attached to each share. A share in a company can have any of the following 3 rights: a right to vote, a right to income, dividends, and a right to capital growth. In a typical company, ordinary shares have all 3 rights. But that doesn't have to be the case. Any share can have any combination of these rights. For example, you could have shares that carry the right to dividends, or shares that allow for capital growth but have no voting power. In a FIC, we normally structure the shareholding into different classes to suit the family, often referred to as alphabet shares. That helps ensure voting power remains in the right hands, but also that income can be extracted tax efficiently and that your estate is protected from inheritance tax. For example, the parents might want to hold shares with voting power and dividend rights, giving them full control over the company decisions, while the children own shares with capital and/or dividend rights, but no voting power. That means mum and dad still run the company, grow the pot, and decide as and when dividends are paid, but any increase in the company's value accrues to the children and not to mum and dad, meaning it grows outside of their estate for IHT purposes. This can be a good way to pass value down generations without having to give up something or give a large sum of cash. If you're setting up a new company, it's usually straightforward to build in alphabet shares from day one. If you already have a company that's been making investments and you now want to bring family members in, you can still turn it into a FIC. It just needs more careful planning. The key is doing it tax neutrally. That often means getting share valuations done properly and making sure the structuring holds up. And this is where things can get tricky. Once there's significant value in the business, it's not just as simple as issuing new shares or reallocating ownership. HMRC will expect to see a clear and commercial rationale, properly documented share valuations, and the right legal process followed. If you get it wrong, even unintentionally, you could trigger income tax, capital gains tax, or fall foul of anti-avoidance rules. This is where it gets very complicated very quickly, and it's definitely not something to do without advice. We often work alongside lawyers and valuation experts to make sure everything stacks up and can withstand scrutiny. And this ties into one of the most powerful benefits. If you already have a company, you can use a FIC to freeze the value of your shares at today's level, so any future growth occurs in the children's shares and not yours. Let's say, for example, your shares are worth £1 million today, but they might be worth £5 million in 10 years' time. Without planning, your estate could face IHT on the full £5 million in 10 years' time. But if you freeze the value at £1 million today, that £4 million of growth happens in your children's names outside of your estate. That's a potential IHT saving of £1.6 million, and you didn't have to give anything away outright. Timing matters too. If you're about to exit a business, or you're expecting a significant investment return, it's better to get the fixed structure out in place now, so you can shift the growth to the next generation while the value of your company is currently still low. We work with families all the time who want to help their children, or build something for the long term, but don't want to lose control or trigger unnecessary tax. A FIC can be that middle ground. You can stay in the driver's seat, but you're still doing something meaningful for the next generation. So to wrap up, a family investment company is just a regular company, but used in a very specific and very intentional way. By using different share classes, you can split control, income, and capital, and you can shift growth outside of your estate while retaining control, and avoid some of the limitations of trusts. But like most things in tax, the details matter. From share design to valuations to the legal paperwork, this is not something that you can DIY, because if HMRC challenges it, you want it to hold up. Now, if you're thinking about how to structure things for the next generation, and you want a plan that gives flexibility, protection, and long-term impact, feel free to reach out. We help clients build FICs that align with their goals and stand up to scrutiny. and we make sure they work alongside the rest of your estate and business planning. If you found this video, give it a like and hit subscribe. It helps this channel more than you know. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or any other topics that you want me to cover next, drop them in the comment section below. That's all for this video. Thanks for watching.